So another training tool you're going to use, the old punching bag. You're not going to use what they call a speed bag, which is a little one, hangs from the ceiling. You can use a heavy bag, whether it's something that hangs and is big, or one of these wave bags where you fill up the base with weight. You're going to do the same thing. What you're going to be practicing on this is your distance and good structure. Remember what I told you about hitting with the two knuckles? This is the thing you're really going to feel it on. Now, modern times, they wrap their hands, they put on gloves. That allows you to punch really hard because you have mechanical help keeping your wrists straight, keeping your knuckles in place, and everything else. If you're training in old pugilism, they didn't have that. They fought bare knuckle. And this will also hopefully tempt you, or keep you from tempting to throw as hard of a punch as you can if you ever get into a fight. Because a lot of boxers will mess up their hands if they get into a street fight and punch somebody like they would in the ring. Granted, they're going to knock that guy out, but they're going to mess up their hand too. So, when I throw my lead straight, I start extending my arm, I step in, and I drive it back. My actual hit point on either my lead or my cross is a little bit behind so that my hand is into the body. Now, there are a couple instructors who think it should be more like that. That's extending yourself a bit. I'm going to say keep short, drive, drive. When you get close, drive, drive. When you're practicing those rounders, this is interesting because you're hitting with something that's not meant for heavy hits. So what you're going to do is you're going to be a little bit farther back so you scrape. So you scrape. You can see this here. This will scrape up the skin of your knuckles. So if you don't want to do that, get a thin pair of gloves, leather, gardening, something like that. Just enough so that you don't scrape your skin. Not something that is heavy or bulky at all. So remember, carry through, carry through, and then you shadow box with this too. Because now I have distance. So I'm 1, 2, 3. Get back. All right, next round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm back out again. So, working with the bag, this will help you out. Remember, straight here, these two knuckles. Doing this on here is not as bad as doing it on somebody's skull or something hard, but you can still hurt yourself. Doing this on a bag is going to sprain your wrist. And then you're not going to punch anything with it for a while. Because once it's turned, you either do that or you do that. And either way, congratulations, you're not using this wrist for a while. One last tool people use when practicing empty-handed stuff, these things. These are called focus mitts. These are actually a really cheap option to help training because you're not going to spend all that much on a decent pair of them. Now, these become the targets. Now, you notice Johnny has them in front of his body. You see some people do this in the movies. This is bad because if somebody carries through, it ganks his shoulder around. So he's going to have them, he's going to have them together and forward. Now, generally what I like to do to help with training is they'll be back, and then he'll show me which one he wants me to punch by moving it forward. And I'm going to punch with the opposite hand. Why? Because when I punch somebody in the head, I don't punch straight through, because if I do, I'm actually gonna just kind of crease his cheek. What I'm actually doing is punching through the center of his head. So I'm actually punching at a slight angle that way, which is towards there. Not straight behind him, but off to my right just a little bit. If I punch with my right, I'm going a bit to the left. So when he throws out one, I'm punching with the opposite. So if he throws the other one out, then I go there. This is timing. Now I'm watching him, because what he's doing with these mitts is telling me opening. Because if somebody's standing like this, you're not necessarily going to punch. But if they're moving around and all of a sudden their front hand drops, that's when you want to punch them. Now, with this, he can also hold, say, this one out straight like that. Oh, hey, I have my rounder. Because of distance, I'm not ever going to throw a shovel at him unless I'm specifically working on shovels, in which case he's doubling up, because these shovels carry a lot of force. As you can see, I can knock him backwards with this, even though he's in a braced position, because that carries a lot of my weight into it. With this, he's giving me targets. Now, sometimes I'm going to mess up, but that's okay. What you're going to do then is, remember, you're learning. And as you can see, even when you know what you're doing, you sometimes mess up. Don't worry about it right now. Get better at it, keep practicing. Thank you.